Hi, it's been a long time, but I have had to learn slalom foiling, and it's been a long journey, especially because I probably started off with a bit of the wrong equipment. I started off thinking that I could use my IQ foil board for slalom foiling, and it's a pretty decent foil board, but it's made mostly for up and downwind racing. So a couple of months ago I finally got hold of a modern foil slalom board, because the development is so rapid right now, and it's like it was a revolution for me. So now I'm only using that, and even in light winds, even though it's only 81 wide, it just pops like nothing, even with the slalom foil in it. So I'll tell you a bit more about that. So this will be the video about amateur slalom foiling tips, and we are today in Norway and we are at the beautiful Flemma surf spot, as you can see here, and it's our terminals. It works a bit like Lake Garda, and when the sun heats up the mountains we get the wind, and right now it's a bit of a cloud, so right now there isn't so much wind. It usually comes in the afternoon. I was sailing here 2 days ago. There wasn't almost any sun, so it was like not so much wind. I got 10 kilometers with the 8.5, and yesterday, where most of the action shots are from, we did 7.0, and the wind just kept building, so that was pretty good. And today it looks like a 7.0 day again, but right now the wind has dropped a little bit as there's some partial clouds, so we'll just hope for the best and hope that the sun comes out, and in the meantime I'll do a little bit of video. I will show you a bit about how I trim my slalom sails a bit differently for the foiling, and yeah, that's it, and hope you like it. So now I'll show you how I trim my foil slalom board. There are the two main factors are, as you can see, mast foot position. The further you go here, the more back foot pressure you will have. So I like to have almost a neutral stance, so I found that for this board I need to put it almost all the way in the back. So I will put this here, and here you can see how I have my foot strap positions. I have the back ones all the way in the back, and the front ones in the middle, and as I'm only starting to learn it, that's how I've chosen it. So if you look over here, I have made some shims, because you need to be able to adjust the rake of the foil mast, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll just take these off like this, and you can see I have a good friend of mine have made this timber to me and it fits perfectly here, so it's more stable. The usual ones are just here in the front, and it doesn't sit so nice. So this one, but this doesn't give me enough rake, I found, so I have supplied with one of the normal ones on top, and then I get the angle of rake on the mast that I would like to. So I will show you just how to measure the mast rake, pretty easy on the telephone. So now I'll just put the foil in the board. So I put this one first, and this one, and then I'll bring my foil. Then my foil, most of the good guys I've seen foiling, they have a much tighter fits, but yeah, this is the fit I have. So I'll have to go with that. So screw and make sure that there's enough of the bolt or screw inside the insert. So the insert is a whole cm, so definitely make sure. So you can see I have a lot of, so I'm sure that it's so stable as possible. And then after I've screwed it once, I try to push it forward, but that's the way it wants to go. And then I double check the front screw, because that can come loose. I double check the front screw because that can come loose, and I do like this. And then the last one, and then the foil will easily take 40 kilometers without going loose. So that's how I set my slalom board up, foil slalom board up. I'll show you how to measure the rake now. I just use a free app, this one, and the level bar, and then I place it down here, and then I reset it, and then I measure up here. And Jody Monk has said that this foil needs about 3.6 degrees, and I'm at 3.7, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that's what I'm going with. You can see if we go higher we get more, so that's a great angle here. And I just use my phone. I have thought about buying a level box. It's a bit more precise, but with a very good smartphone I think it's precise enough, at least for me, as I'm just an amateur and beginner in slalom foiling. So yeah, use the phone. You always have it with you anyways, and you can write the settings down, and the level box don't get stolen and don't get lost. So much easier, the less equipment, the less hassle, the less stress. Always keep it as stress free as possible. So now we'll look a little bit on the sail, so follow me. And så film bare lidt pause der. And for the downhaul I go a little bit less than for fin slalom. So just a little bit more. I want a little bit of wrinkle in the loose leech, but not too much, so 1.5 cm less than usual, so a little bit more like that. And for the boom I go, if I'm powered up, I go for the middle or the lower, and that's now we ain't fully powered yet, but that is to get the draft in the sail a bit more forward, because that brings some balance. And yeah, and I sail them relatively flat, the sails, because you're sailing so fast in comparison to the wind, so it needs to be a little bit flat, but then you can go deep in low wind. And yeah, otherwise I just use my slalom sails, they work great. So about shims, with the 4-foil set there's shims for the back wing to make it a little less lifty. I don't use them, as I think I prefer to have pretty much lift, but they are there, so you can experiment with it. There are no shims for the front wing, but as I said earlier, I just adjust the rake of the mast. So yeah, that's it for shims. It's much easier without them, so I don't use them, but maybe later when I get better at foiling. And as you can see here, I have 3 different sizes. This one is the big one, a little bit bigger, and this one is the small one, and that's very small, especially compared to this one. I always, as with any other fin, except the high quality ones, you have to sand them, otherwise the trailing edge is too round, so they'll make a lot of noise, so you have to sand them. Also, if you see here, come here, and you see the scratches here, they don't mean that much, but they will, if you sand them a little bit, wet sand them, like in the fin tutorial video, they go right out. They aren't so deep, but if you can't handle getting some scratches on your foil, don't get into foiling. For the rear wing, I have a bigger one in the F4 set. You can see my review on unboxing. I almost never use this one. Even for light wind, I prefer the small one. As soon as I'm going, there's a little bit less drag in this small one, so the top speed will be higher. But of course, this one will be a little more stable. But yeah, I just like to know that I have the potential to go maximum speed. Yeah, that's it for the foiling, amateur foiling slalom video here from Norway. I really hope you like it, and yeah, if you have any questions, comment down below, and of course subscribe. That's all for today. See you.
Also like